Happy Tuesday. I wanted to set this on the cover page so that you guys are aware that I am now available on radio, podcasts, anywhere and everywhere. So if you have an Android, you can subscribe to my channel at Lisa Puerto on Google Play Music. And if you have an iPhone, you can find the show at iTunes. So I just wanted to say that real quick as a nice little announcement that your girl is also on the live TV stream and I'm also on radio. Okay, so enough of that. Happy Tuesday, beautiful souls. I'm working with a different camera because I forgot my other camera. But shout out to the family that's joining me on Instagram. Hello, I see United Youth in New Jersey is in the building. I see Ty's in the building. Thanks, you guys, for joining. What an extraordinary weekend we have all had, and we were able to share really collectively in remembering the ancestor and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So I, for the first time, was able to be part of the parade that happened here in Los Angeles, which gave me life. It gave me life to be part of the community. You know, I do a lot of community work, so this just kind of see it firsthand. That was really nice, you know, and it was very interesting too, because I got some feedback because I was on the float with the Southwest Los Angeles Association of Realtors. So I was getting some feedback in terms of, what are you doing about gentrification? So that was interesting, because if you want to stay tuned to the Ready, Set, Real Estate show that happens on Wednesday, that is my answer. That is my answer for that. But today is Tuesday, and we're doing Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays for 13 minutes to transform your inner experience to a phenomenal experience. And if you are joining me for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, yours truly, Lisa Puerto, super agent, the one, the only, the original. And be sure to invite somebody, tag someone, share, swipe right. I'm on everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play Music, at lasuperagent. So whatever your share buttons are, I invite you to do that, because again, the message that I do continue to support our nonprofit organization. Our show, Ready, Set, Real Estate, supports that. Shift Your Thinking allows you to connect with me, and it just, I feel, humanizes me so that you can get to know who exactly you are supporting and who you exactly are investing in. And this is my added value. That way we can learn together. We can learn together. We are doing our series. We are now on episode number 27 from Shift Your Thinking, 200 Ways to Improve Your Life, written by Dean Del Sesto. And I'm still conjuring up, you guys, a book, not a book giveaway, but a campaign for something fun. I did the book giveaway. I'm sure I'll start that over because we have like 100 and something episodes left because we're on number 27. So I will come up with something. Don't just you know that I will come up with something. So we're going to call today's segment "17 Seconds." I'm going to call this segment 17 Seconds is what I'm going to call it. 17 seconds. Yep. Today's segment is called 17 Seconds, and I'm going to share with you why I'm calling that. 17 seconds. Oh, this is going to be a good one. For those of you who are following along with your book, I'm on the section that says, sometimes we don't even recognize when we are complaining. Ooh, sometimes we don't even recognize when we are complaining. And if you allow me to just let me toggle my camera, because I've got a couple things happening here with both streaming live on Instagram and live on Facebook. Be sure to invite someone so that we can build together. And if you're catching me on the replay, thank you for joining me. And if you're listening to me on any of the podcasts, thank you and welcome. And I love you. And the author says, I'm so sick of people complaining. How's that for hypocrisy? Why do we complain? The answers are pretty basic, but pretty in your face. First, we complain because we believe our unique style of complaining is creative or artistic enough to be appreciated. That is hilarious. That is hilarious, especially because I've called it 17 seconds. He says, yes, for some people, complaining is an art form, but actually it's more of a heat storm, a condition of a burdened heart that needs to sound off in the form of spewing hopelessness and negativity into a world that could use a little less. So I'm going to stop there and just build for a sec, actually. I'm calling it 17 seconds because my partner and I, Hugh Williams, we have this thing. That way we don't go into complaining, this thing of venting. And I covered it on some of the past shows where we allow ourselves to really just share, talk about maybe someone who has dishonored us, disrespected, or however we feel about a scenario, person, or situation, and we allow ourselves 17 seconds to get it off. To woosah. Beyond that, and here's what's funny. He likes to do 10 seconds, but I think 17 seconds is good because that way it allows the mind to just kind of rumble a little and then you kind of let the steam off. 17 seconds. That's all you get. Let's practice that. I invite you to try that. 17 seconds to kind of get it off. That way you don't feel like you're in your artistic art form where you are complaining artistically. We also complain because of an insecure need to be validated or to be right, which requires others to see our point of view. Be sure to check the archives when I talked about, are you a right fighter? Are you a right fighter? That was a good episode, a good segment, I thought, because I've let go being a right fighter. Sometimes you just got to let them have it. Sometimes it's not worth it. It is not worth your energy to be sucked in trying to be a right fighter. So complaining becomes a project to convert others to our way of thinking. It's an endless battle. And so there's endless complaining. Then there's the reality that we complain because we don't have the courage to go beyond the complaint and confront the issue or the person or persons in a way that would be responsible and productive. You know, it does take courage to come to someone and deal with what I call, what some of the thought people, schools of thought call emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. It requires a degree of emotional intelligence, you guys, to address someone who you feel has harmed you, affected you, affect with an A. It does take courage to say, and I think some of the famous therapeutic phrases are, you hurt me when, right? Or I am mad because. How many of us are bottling up those phrases and we're carrying it and you're like, you know what? So-and-so said or so-and-so did. We are so artistic with it, right? And he says, but most critically, we complain because we see no greater potential coming from our mouths than the act of complaining itself. While in the heat of a gripe, we can't think of anything productive to say, So our verbal vomits, verbal vomits winds up hitting whoever is in its path. Verbal vomits. You know I'm gonna borrow that. Although it may sound like I have a gripe with complaining, I actually condone it in the right setting, with the right people, and with a clear purpose. As a matter of fact, I love how synchronistic this is when we talk about the tone, purpose, setting for complaining, especially because we just celebrated the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and we know what he stood for, civil rights. And it was going beyond 17 seconds and venting. It was going beyond not complaining, while albeit the groups that he was protesting against may have perceived and experienced it as a complaint, like, yo, can he just quit already? Aren't you just happy already? Aren't you just satisfied already with what you have? Would you quit complaining? However, like the author says, there is a place, time to condone when it is in a certain setting, with a certain people and a certain purpose. The author says, I'm convicted complaining can be healthy and appropriate if the complaint we share with others is for the purpose of getting honest and forthright counsel on how to deal with this issue we're complaining about, or they've agreed to allow us to vent. It's also important to share these things in the right settings where no one is in earshot of the complaint. He says, complaining, sport for some, false necessity for others. So let's rest on a derivation of an old adage: we have nothing to complain about but complaints themselves. So let's build on that. I had a thought, and welcome if you are joining me for the first time to Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience for 13 minutes of your day. If you are tuning in on the radio, thank you again, and you'll see that I've gotten you caught up on the Shift Your Thinking episodes, and we are now on episode number 27. So I'm really excited about that, because you can now subscribe and just catch me when the alert comes up on your phone that Lisa's dropped a new episode. So that's really exciting for me, because I'm finding ways to just kind of connect with you. I want to shout out and say good morning, Auntie Martha. Who else is on? I know there's Fam Babs. Babs is in the Instagram. So complaining, 17 seconds. Today's episode I called 17 seconds, because let's really digest before we do the verbal vomits. That was a good one. Verbal vomits on someone else. See, and that's the thing when we talk about words have power, words have power, words have power, that they speak things into existence. They give life and they can take life. And be careful, right? Speaking to me, right, Lisa, be careful that you don't go beyond your 17-second rule. And I'm calling it 17 seconds because I allow myself to vent. That way I don't slip into complaining. And then you have to be careful when you're also doing the verbal vomit. You don't want to do the verbal vomit on someone else, because guess what? You're carrying that. You are giving them to carry that. So let's also be considerate of the person that we are sharing with, or we think we're venting with, that we don't give them the burden of our complaint. Rather, let us find courage. Let us find courage today, tomorrow, to confront the person or the situation that may have harmed us. Because oftentimes it's sometimes just a miscommunication, sometimes a misinterpretation. And let me share this with you. I'll leave you with this for this week. Be mindful that we all have experiences, personal definitions in which our minds, our spirit, and our bodies is interpreting it with a certain filter. So the way I hear something, and this is so profound to me because this is a truth as a speaker, when I speak on various panels, on various shows, in various events, and in various groups of people, it is a phenomenal I guess it's a phenomenon. It's an interesting phenomenon that I see happen where people receive very different messages from what I'm saying. Some of you right now who are hearing me speak are resonating with various parts of what I'm sharing right now. And that is because your science, your spirituality, your DNA, your genetics, your makeup is processing that through a filter, which is then interpreting it, right? Your CPU, your computer brain, your motherboard is interpreting the messages very differently. So it requires emotional intelligence to raise your vibration and tap into your higher self to say, why am I upset? First of all, what am I feeling? Right? I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I want to blame someone. I'm helpless. What am I feeling? And now, why am I feeling that? I am feeling blank because. I'm feeling blank because. And allow yourself to process it so that you can transmute that energy and confront it. Peace, peace, family. Shout out to Solarverse on the Instagram. Dean says, hi, good morning. Hey, Lisa. I appreciate you guys. Again, be sure to subscribe, like, share on at LA Super Agent on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, for all the fun and exciting things that is happening. I'm really excited about what 2018 has in store. And I trust that you will have a phenomenal, powerful, and productive week, you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you.